Hello, hello, good afternoon. This is Dawn Marie with Sign Parties 101, and I just finished the second batch, bundle, set, whatever you want to call it, for my circle frame interchangeables. We have the shiplap circle one that's been probably the most popular by far, and then I have another patterned one with a circle and a square one that's kind of patterned with a circle. And so I just finished my second set and I did the test cuts and they're amazing. And so I just posted them on the website. If you go to signparties101.com, they are under shop and then cut files. There's a set of 12. The first set I did was one for every month. So there's like the snowflake, winter wishes for January, love you more for February, lucky for March, and so forth. And then this one is just like a kind of a mix of all of them. I took it off of what you guys wanted. I had asked a few weeks ago for suggestions, and you wanted some sports and some Easter and mom and dad and stuff like that. And so I have those all included. The picture, I don't even have them all painted yet. So the picture is literally just of these blanks, but I will get them painted and then have them all nice. Looking for that picture. But I just wanted to come in here. I figured since I have to paint them anyways, I'm going to show you how I paint one or two and just show you how easy it is because they are double layered. And so when we paint and then glue them together, we just pop them in the little frame, which I should have brought. Here, I have a blank one. So when you cut it out, I use a 1/4 inch maple for this, but you can do kind of whatever you want. And then this is 1/4 inch maple. And you glue that on here, and then these guys will just pop right into that frame. And then when you're ready to change it out, there's a little hole in the back, so you can just pop it out and then change them. And then you can print off the little stand that's included in this file. I usually just use 1/8 inch MDF for this because you don't need it to be very heavy duty. And then it just sits in the frame like that. And then this little guy, you don't even need Velcro or glue, or I guess you don't want to use glue, but Velcro or magnets or anything like that, because gravity, it's tilted back just a tiny bit. So gravity just holds it in and it's pretty snug. So yeah, so this is made for that. And then I should have brought them out here, but I also have the pattern frame. I think I call it a mosaic circle, and then a pattern square that also will fit this circle. So they're on the website if you want to look. But I'm going to just go ahead and paint this little guy. So say hello when you join me so I know you're watching. This one, if you can't tell because it's backwards, says explore on it, and it's got my little drawing of mountains and some trees down at the bottom. So I am going to pay attention to where these trees end, and I'm going to paint the bottom of this background a green color down here, and then I'm going to paint the rest of it white with just a little bit of blue at the top. So I'll kind of show you how that all works. I was just live in Sign Party Central not that long ago, and I told them all I was gonna go dry my hair because I had just gotten out of the shower, and I didn't do that because, you know, life and kids and all that. So I did get a shower in today though, which is way better than normal anyways, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate, right? So, all right, you guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a little pencil, and I'm gonna mark it on here where I put a little dot here and here, just for my knowing where I can stop with that green before I go up with the white. So I'm gonna do that first. And I'm just using little acrylic paints. This is Hunter Green by Folk Art. You obviously can use whatever colors you want, and I'm going to use a white foam wedge. Now this is what I use for all my painting. It doesn't matter if it's my gnomes, if it's my trucks, if it's these shapes, if it's stenciling. This is what I paint with. I never use brushes or anything like that. So we're gonna dab it in, and then, so I'm gonna look at my dots again, and I just wanna paint the bottom part of the screen. Now I'm gonna keep referring back to this because I want the background of the trees to be covered, but I don't want to go up too far because I don't want it to go into the white part of the mountains. So I'm going to look at it again, and that looks good. So because we're using a really light coat of paint, it's already dry, and so I'm going to go over it again with just another coat to just kind of darken it up a little bit. Hello, you guys. I'm just painting the new shapes for my circle interchangeable that is now live on the website, signparties101.com. Okay, so there's my green. And then I'm going to kind of flip it upside down, and I'm going to do the rest white. And then right when I get to the top, I'm just going to do a little bit of blue to kind of make it look a little bit more like the sky. So I'm going to use just my party white. This is like my go-to white. I had Home Depot color match it with antique parchment from Apple Barrel because I love that white, because it's like, it's not like a stark white, and it's not a super yellowy creamy color. It's just like a really nice off-white. So I love that, and I use it for all the things white is that. Hello, Lori. All right, so I'm gonna use the fat end of my sponge, and I'm just gonna go down like this. I kind of want to lift it when I get to the end because I want to make sure I don't get any paint on the edge of my circle. One, because it looks bad, and two, if you get too much paint on the sides, it won't fit very well into that circle because it is pretty tight. And that's kind of meant to be that way so it doesn't fall out of that frame. So I'm going to put a nice kind of light coat on it the first time, and then I'll go over it again. I'm not going to worry about being perfect because the nice thing about these shapes is that they're double layered, right? So you're going to have this sitting on top of that, so this doesn't have to be painted perfectly. Hey, Sherry. Yay, Jennifer just ordered her Glowforge. Now you can buy the files rather than the cutouts. That's exciting. All right, so I'm just gonna add some more white. I'm gonna go back over, just kind of crisp it up a little bit with a second coat. And you can really see the difference between first coat, second coat. Just like when we're stenciling, it really fills everything in and just makes it nice and crisp. And then I'm just gonna add in a little bit of blue just because I want to give a little bit of something to my sky. So I am going to use a different sponge, and I'm just gonna add in a little bit of blue to a little bit of my white because I don't want it like too blue. I just want a little hint of blue. And I'm just gonna add it right to the end. And just kind of blend it in like that. See how that goes? See, kind of looks like grass, sky. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of see how it looks on here. Perfect, just how I wanted it. I'm gonna touch up a little bit of this white. I got my blue down a little bit too far than where I wanted it. So I'm just gonna add in some white, which is just kind of me being picky. You don't really have to do that, but. So there's the base. And now this part is the easiest because all I'm gonna do is grab a sponge and some black paint. I love, love, love doing the top black because you don't have to pay attention to the sides because black will blend in with the lasered look of the cutouts, and you can do it a lot faster. Because let's say if this was white, for example, when you're dabbing up and down on here, you don't want the end of your sponge to kind of curl over the edge because that would get you white paint on the black edges of your cutout. So you just want to be very careful and dab up and down and make sure you don't have any excess paint on your sponge. But since it's black, we don't have to worry about that really because you can't really see it. And so we just get to dab away and not really worry about the edges. So that's always fun. Hey, Cindy. Oh, she says, thanks for your videos. I learned so much and I'm excited to start my parties and kits. Yay! Well, you're welcome. I have plans soon. I'm getting my website all updated and just hired a virtual assistant. And so it's giving me a little bit more time to plan designs and plan videos and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm really excited for the things that are to come. I have some fun things in mind. So I'm glad that you find the videos helpful. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a quick coat. And honestly, black covers it pretty well on the first coat. But I'm just gonna give that a second to dry and I'll see how it looks and then decide if it needs a second coat. Because once it dries, sometimes you can kind of see the wood through it, but I'll just give it a little bit of a quick dab just for good measure. And then when you put them together, that's where the magic happens and they look adorable. So, and that's how fast it was, you guys. Okay, done. They're done. So now I just have to take my glue and put them together. Now I think the next one, I'll maybe paint two. I'm debating. I think I'll do the relax. This says relax with a sun and some waves for all you who have a lake home or live on the beach or something like that. All right, so that's what that one looks like. Now, when you put them together, it's gonna look something like this. Isn't that cool? I just love how that totally pops. First, the black against the white and the blue, and then the green down there. Isn't that adorable? So now all you do to glue it down is you take my favorite glue, which is Loctite Professional. It's really liquidy though, so be careful because you don't want to like squeeze it because you'll get a lot of glue coming out. So, hey Kimberly. Oh, glad you guys like it. I like this one too. This one is the mountains from my Explore, and I had that file last week that said explore over the mountains. And I just love these. And it has a little different meaning to me this time because I live in the mountains now and I never ever, one, would have thought that I was gonna live in the mountains, and two, I never thought I would enjoy living in the mountains as much as I do. They are absolutely gorgeous. See how much glue I put on there? Not a ton. At all, because I don't want glue squirting out the sides, and this stuff is like cement. So you need to make sure it's lined up well before you put it down because there's really no moving it once it's down. So make sure the edges are all lined up. Press it down for a sec. Now, if you do find yourself painting on the sides or getting any sort of, color or anything like that on the sides, it's totally fine. One, you can sand it a little bit, or just take some black paint on a little paintbrush, something like, I got my paintbrushes down here, something like this little guy, and take black paint, dip it in your black paint, and just wipe it on the edges. And then nobody will ever know. So there, that's done. So that's my Explore. And I'm trying to remember, it's right out there and I don't want to leave you guys. So I'll just pretend. So pretend this is painted, and can't do this backwards here. It would go like this and sit on the little thing. So, all right, so there's one. Let me see. This may be a repeat question, but what kind of paint do you use? This is just regular acrylic. One of them is Apple Barrel, another one is Folk Art, and then the black and the white are Home Depot wall paint. So I am literally just a hodgepodge of all the paints. I don't think it really matters to me. I use the Home Depot wall paint on all my parties and all my stencils and stuff. I have more color options available for myself just in these little bottles, but these ones are the ones that I bring to my parties. So I have gallon size paints for my party paints, and then here, while I'm just doing stuff, I have a bunch of little bottles. So I just use the little acrylic craft paint there. So, all right, so let's do the relax one since I got you on here. What should we do? Let's do some blues and whites again in the background, like a gold sun. We'll do a black relax, and then we'll do some nice blue waves. I think that'll be good. All right, so again, I'm gonna take my little, actually no, this isn't gonna matter. Okay, so I'm gonna use my white that I already had on my plate, and I'm going to cover the entire thing. So I like to start in the middle and work my way out. That way I can lift kind of at the bottom and kind of rotate it as I go. I try to keep it nice and even so it kind of dries all at the same time. And then on the second coat, I'll again pay attention to kind of where the lines are as far as in the paint and stuff. So that's the first coat. See, you can kind of see through it. That's totally fine. We want it to dry. I think I'm gonna do the same thing with a little bit of blue near the top and a little bit of white. Oh, I put my white. So again, this white is a Home Depot color match from Apple Barrel's Antique Parchment. So it's just a very not super yellowy off-white, and that's what I like about it, because I didn't want anything real super creamy with a yellow tint. I wanted it more of a white, and this definitely fits that bill. I love it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go do another coat of this white, starting in the middle and kind of going outward. Try not to get too much on the edges of my cutout here. And then for the top, I'm gonna just dab in a little bit of that blue again. Oops. Use a different sponge. Then I'm gonna start at the top. I can always add in more blue, but it's harder to like take it away. And so it's just gonna be very light and subtle in the middle. And then I'm gonna get the darker blue towards the top, which is gonna be mostly covered by the sun, but that's okay. Okay. Ta-da. And again, you don't have to really be super picky about the background, because you're gonna be covering it up anyways. All right, so now I'm gonna set this aside to let it dry. I know you said you cut the back and the frame from 1/4 inch maple. What do you use for the designs? I use all 1/8 inch MDF. I feel like 1, it cuts great, and 2, I'm gonna be painting it anyways. And so everything, all of these are 1/8 inch MDF. So you can use whatever you want. 1/8 inch birch would probably work fine if you liked that. You can use 1/4 inch for the back and then 1/8 inch for the top, although keep in mind it will stick out of the frame a little bit more. But yeah, I do all mine with the 1/8 inch MDF. So I'm just gonna put it on here and see what that looks like. Oh, beautiful. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna do the same color blue for my waves, and then I'm gonna get another blue, maybe a navy-ish, maybe a teal, and kind of do the tops of the waves. But first I'm gonna get that base blue down, and I'm gonna end it right where that frame starts. Now this is where you need to be careful a little bit because I'm not using black, so I can't just go on here all willy-nilly and get the paint everywhere. I want to be kind of careful with where I put it. Okay, so that's my base coat. And now I'm gonna grab, let's see, do I want to go darker or lighter? The background's white, so let's go a little bit just more teal. Maybe this color. Let's try it. And I'll grab the navy too. All right. This is kind of more of like a sea green, so we'll see how this turns out. The nice thing about this is you can just keep playing with the colors until you get it the way that you want it. Okay, you see that difference? I like that. So I'm just gonna dab it up and down. I'd probably be doing this flat, but I kind of wanted to show you. Now I'm gonna blend it in a little bit. And then I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of navy, I think, to the top, just because I can. Your blending is amazing. Well, not really. But frankly, I feel like the more you play with it, like the better it gets. I don't know. I'm not super picky. For those of you that know me, I don't measure. I'm just not picky. I like the rustic kind of natural, you didn't think about it too hard sort of thing. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of blue. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Just to the edges of those waves. And then just kind of blend it down a little bit. Kind of feel like Bob Ross. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna try adding a little bit of white. I like that color. All right, so now next I'm going to do my yellow sun next because black is usually the easiest. So if I get yellow where I want black, black is really easier to cover everything. So let's not do that one. Let's do gold. Do a little bit of that. Now Now a little trick, you can just take your sponge and cut it and use it again. Oh, shut up, Willow. I do feel like Bob Ross. Although he's way more relaxing than I am. Do you guys remember seeing my daughter's Bob Ross's painting? So I should almost flip this around and show you. I have it right on the other side. She grabbed my iPad one day and she says, Mom, I need to borrow this for a second. I'm gonna go paint Bob Ross. Okay, she's 11. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, you just wanna go, you know, play games on it or do whatever. So she went out to my shop. Okay, I'm gonna go get it because I have to show you guys. It's my absolute favorite thing ever. She went out to my shop. Okay, so that's my son. And I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna get it. Okay, she had never painted Bob Ross before. She'd never watched him. She just knew that, or maybe she saw him on TV or something. I don't know, but she'd never followed along with one. And literally about an hour later, she comes inside. She found this, which is like just a junk piece of hardboard that I had in my shop. And she painted that. She's 11. And this is what she painted watching Bob Ross. I mean, look at those mountains and the trees. Like, literally her very first painting. And I was like, I probably started crying because I was like, I cannot even, one, the fact that you actually took it and did something Bob Ross, but you are amazing. So it's been my most favorite thing ever that she's done. But anyways, all right, so I'm just getting this, a few coats of this yellow isn't very thick. So in order to see it well, I want it to be painted in a few coats, and then it's gonna be time to take our black. Willow, if you guys don't know, Willow is my assistant that's in my shop cutting all of your blanks right now, so thank you, Willow. All right, you guys, now all we have to do is do the black. So I'm just gonna dip my sponge into the black paint. I'm gonna set this down and we're just gonna dab. Again, oops, again, I love the black because you don't have to be as careful, except just be careful by the yellow. And then I'm gonna stop right where the waves kind of started. All right. Dab across the words. But the best is when you put these together. Like put the top on the bottom. That's the best. So a lot of people think that you can't paint with a sponge if you have, you know, really intricate stuff. Now markers do work really well, even just regular Sharpies. I haven't found a paint pen that I love or a paint marker, and so I just use regular Sharpies. But if you use this at like the very edge of the sponge, you can get pretty dang close to whatever it is that you're trying to paint. And it does have a really nice kind of sharp edge. And so if you tilt up your sponge a little bit, you can get that really well with just a sponge. Now I might play with that more. I might add a little bit of orange to that sun, but I think for the most part, I'm gonna fix my wave. Okay. Dab, 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 dab. All right, there was a little bit of black the very first time I was not paying attention, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of the yellow back and just dab it on the end of that. And now that is the waves. And now when we put them on the back, that's when it just all comes alive. Isn't that cute? So there's your relax. And here is the explore. So here's two examples that are in the circle bundle, and I'll show you the other ones here quick. They don't look as cute because they're not painted, but I will go and paint. I want to get a picture of them all painted, so I will be painting the other ones. Yes, I love that relax one too. My husband used to tell me that years and years ago when all my kids were little. I have seven kids right now between ages 5 and 15. When I started my sign party business, they were 1 to 11. And so one of the very first signs that he told me to make was one that said relax. And I think I had it in my kitchen for a while because he would always tell me, just relax, just relax. As I tend to like go from 0 to 100. And so that reminds me of what my husband used to say to me, relax, just relax. Okay, so we have celebrate with a cupcake. And again, these aren't gonna look as nice because they're the blanks, but celebrate with a cupcake. Touchdown with a football, and I know they're backwards for you guys, so. We have number 1, dad. An adorable little snowman. Now, most of these are ones that you guys said you wanted. So if you have any more suggestions, let me know for bundle number 3. This is Best Mom Ever. We have the Easter hip hop bunny, and then we also have, because Easter was on a lot of your guys' requests, so we have the bunny for the Easter, and then we also have the Christian cross that says risen down one side of the hill there. Then couldn't do it without the little gnome. So there's my gnome. It's holding a sign that says welcome. Just a cute little butterfly. And then I had a lot of Jewish requests for Hanukkah and stuff like that. So we have the Star of David. And then of course the relax and the explore. So those of your 12 are the 12 in the bundle. So I just wanted to show you that simple way to just paint. You paint one, you paint the other, and then you just glue the two together. So like I said, it's up on the website, signparties101.com, under shop and then cut files. It works in the circle shiplap frame, also the mosaic circle frame, and the pattern square frame. They are all the same size. And I also have bundles on there. I have a baseball bundle and a Mother's Day bundle and a Canadian. For all my Canadian friends in here, I have a Canadian bundle and a flower bundle. They just tend to get like lost in all the files. But these all fit in this stand. And then also, if you get any of my tiered trays, that circle, so like from the watermelon and my Christmas and the, what other ones are on there? Lemonade and my Thanksgiving, the ones that have a round is this same size. So it can fit in here as well if you want to use it not only on your tiered tray, but then you want to put it in your circle frame, like the Merry Christmas with a little truck, that fits in here. So I was thinking ahead. All right, so let me know if you have any questions, and yay, love them. I am glad you guys like them. If you have any questions, let me know. Post them, tag me so I see it. Facebook doesn't always let me see everything. And that was it. I'll be back soon. I have lots of fun stuff planned ahead, so take care, and we'll talk.